All right, welcome back to the deep dive. You know we always have your back, right?
Yeah,
Especially you hotel and restaurant owners listening in.
absolutely.
So let's talk shop, because today we're going deep into something absolutely essential. I mean, it's the foundation of your entire business. We're talking optimizing your space.
You got it from the bottom up. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, like the chairs your guests sit on, the plates they eat from, everything.
Every single detail. And to guide us on this deep dive, we've got the insights of a true expert in the hospitality field, Maurice. He's a seasoned food and beverage pro.
Oh, yeah, he really knows this stuff.
Yeah,
And we've been poring over his advice. And what struck us is how every decision, every little thing you choose for your space impacts everything else.
it's all connected.
Totally. And more importantly, all those choices, they directly impact your bottom line.
Profitability. It's the name of the game.
Exactly. So we're going to break it all down from how to encourage that perfect table rotation to designing your floor plan all the way to what kind of chairs, tables, upholstery. Oh yeah, the works, plates, glasses, cutlery, even tablecloths. Because, as Maurice emphasizes, this isn't just about looks.
Right, it's not just aesthetics.
No way. This is about using these elements strategically. So let's jump right in, shall we? Let's start with the art of table rotation.
Okay, table rotations.
Yeah.
Now, we don't mean rushing people out the door, do we? It's more about encouraging a natural flow,
Right.
finding that sweet spot between efficiency, but also making sure your guests have a great, relaxed experience.
Exactly. And Maurice offers some really clever, subtle techniques here. Like, consider the chairs. He suggests maybe chairs that are a bit more upright, without armrests.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, because it gently discourages folks from lingering too long, especially when you're slammed.
Makes sense. Not about discomfort, but just like setting the pace.
Right, subtle cues.
So no one's camping out for hours on a packed Saturday night.
Exactly. And Maurice, he also talks about table placement. Open arrangements are better, he says.
More open, so less. Like enclosed spaces. Would that encourage people to move along a bit quicker?
That's the idea. When you're in a more open setting, you might naturally feel less inclined to settle in for like a marathon meal compared to if you're tucked away in a corner booth.
I get it. The atmosphere itself kind of sets the tempo.
Right. And this is where Maurice ties it all back to your restaurant's concept. He says, okay, gourmet dining, 2 hours per table, that's reasonable. People want to savor the experience, right?
Makes sense. Linger over their wine.
Yeah, exactly. But a casual bistro, aim for 1.5 hours max, more turns, faster pace, aligns with the whole vibe.
I like that. Tailoring the environment to the experience you want to provide.
Makes a huge difference.
You know what this reminds me of? Maurice talks about those classic bustling bouchons in Lyon.
Oh yeah, love those places.
Tiny tables, simple chairs, everyone packed in, energy's high. And guess what? Super fast table turnover. It's part of their charm, part of how they operate. Makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does. Like, are we setting up our spaces to support the kind of dining experience we want to offer, and are we maximizing our potential?
That's the question. So everyone listening, take a look around your place. Think about your busiest times. Is your setup really working for you? Or could you tweak things? Maybe rearrange some furniture to encourage that sweet spot of flow and efficiency that Maurice talks about.
A few changes can make a big difference.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's move on to the actual layout of your dining space. Maurice had some really cool ideas about maximizing your revenue without, knocking down walls and expanding.
Right, working with what you've got. And his key tip, flexibility. He loves the idea of mixing up table shapes.
Mixing it up.
Yeah, because round tables, they can usually squeeze more people in the same footprint.
Maximizing capacity.
But then on the flip side, he also says square or rectangular tables.
Yeah.
They're easier to push together if you've got a big group.
Right, adaptability. So it's about having options for different party sizes.
Exactly. And speaking of flexibility, he's a big fan of those modular banquettes.
What are those exactly? Why does he like them so much?
So they're these banquettes you can configure in different ways. You can put small tables in front of them. So small parties, no problem. But then boom, push them together. You've got a long table for a larger group. Super versatile.
Oh, that's smart. So you're never stuck with like a four-top table with just one person at it during rush hour.
Exactly. Every seat counts. Right.
Right. And Maurice had a really good warning about large fixed tables.
Oh, yeah. He's cautious about those.
Why is that?
Well, unless you've got a steady stream of big parties, they can sit there half empty. Waste of space,
Dead zones.
basically. And he uses a great example, Le Café de Flore in
Yeah.
Paris. Classic spot, right? They've got that mix of round tables and those continuous banquettes running along the walls. And it works. They squeeze a lot of seating into a pretty tight space, and it still feels elegant.
You can picture it. So again, everyone listening, walk through your own space in your mind. Any awkward, empty spots? Could you rearrange things? Maybe bring in some modular banquettes like Maurice suggests, and make better use of every square foot.
Worth thinking about.
Big time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk furniture. The actual chairs and tables. Maurice says they need to be like the trifecta, right? Durable, comfortable, and they've got to match the vibe of your place.
He's all about practicality, especially when it comes to durability. High traffic environment, right? He specifically recommends sturdy chairs, stackable, ideally solid wood or metal.
Stackable, that's so smart.
Oh yeah, for cleaning, for rearranging, storing.
Makes life so much easier.
Totally. And he even gives specific measurements for comfort.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like seat height around 40 to 45 centimeters. Then between the seat and the table, about 30 centimeters of space. It might sound nitpicky, but it makes a huge difference in how comfortable people feel.
That's the kind of detail most people wouldn't even think about, but it affects the whole experience.
Big time. And if you're on a budget, Maurice has a great tip. He says check out places like Le Bon Coin or local auctions. You can find great quality secondhand furniture for a fraction of the price.
That's smart, so you don't have to break the bank. And on the other side of the coin, Maurice tells this cautionary tale about a restaurant in Marseille. They chose these big, bulky tables and chairs. And guess what?
Uh-oh.
They ended up losing like 30 seats
Huh.
because the furniture took up so much space.
Ouch. That's a big hit to your potential revenue.
Huge. So everyone, seriously, go measure your furniture. Is it the right scale for your space? Could you gain some valuable real estate, maybe squeeze in a few more tables with more thoughtfully chosen pieces? Like Marie says, sometimes bigger isn't better.
It's all about finding the right fit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk upholstery. This is a big one, right? Because the materials you choose for your chairs and banquettes, it impacts how your place looks, but also how easy it is to keep clean.
Practicality again. And Maurice, he loves this idea of finding that balance between style and, real world use.
Yeah, you got to think about spills, wear and tear.
Exactly. And for banquettes, which take a beating, he's all about stain-resistant materials. Vinyl, genuine leather, they're lifesavers in a busy restaurant.
Oh, for sure. Easy to wipe down. You don't want your staff spending all their time scrubbing fabric.
No way. And Maurice, he goes back to those specific measurements. For cushion height, he recommends 30 to 35 centimeters between the cushion top and the table bottom.
So there's enough room for your legs.
Exactly. Consistency is key. It makes the whole dining experience more comfortable, more cohesive.
I like that. And you know what's a perfect example of this? Those iconic Parisian cafes like Procope. They have those beautiful leather banquettes.
Yeah.
Classic, right? And practical.
So practical. Elegant, warm, but they can handle spills. They don't show wear and tear.
They've got that perfect blend of style and functionality. So everyone, think about your own upholstery. Is it striking that right balance? Are you going for looks over practicality, or are you thinking long-term, like Maurice?
Good question.
Okay, let's talk about the things that actually hold your food and drinks. The tableware. This is more than just plates and glasses, right? It's an extension of your whole concept.
It's like your brand, but on the table. And Maurice gives some great practical advice here.
Lay it on us.
Okay, first off, something so many people forget. Test your tableware before you buy a ton of it.
Test it?
Yeah. Is it the right size and shape for your food? Is it comfortable for guests to use? Can your staff carry it easily? You don't want to realize it's a pain after you've already invested a bunch of money.
Makes sense. You want to be sure it actually works for your service style.
Totally. And then something else most people don't think about, replacements. Maurice says plan on replacing between 20 and 80% of your tableware every year.
Whoa, 80%.
Yeah, depending on how busy you are, how durable the stuff is. But that's a cost you need to factor in.
That's a great reminder. And to show how impactful tableware can be, Maurice uses the example of Guy Savoy.
Oh yeah, the legendary chef.
His restaurant in Paris, they use these simple white plates.
Minimalist.
Exactly. Why? Because it lets the food shine. It's all about elegance, simplicity.
It's like a blank canvas for culinary art.
Makes you hungry just thinking about it.
Yeah.
So everyone listening, look at your own tableware. Does it match your vision, your style, the feeling you want to create? Is it enhancing your food, like at Guy Savoy, or is it kind of an afterthought?
Something to consider.
Now let's zoom in on plates for a second, because Maurice points out something really fascinating. The size and color of your plates, they actually affect how people perceive portion size.
It's like a mind game.
And that, of course, affects your food costs.
Big time. So Maurice, he talks about how white plates, especially in fancier places, they make the food look more vibrant, more appealing.
Yeah, white really makes colors pop.
Exactly. But then he warns about going too big with the plates.
Why is that?
Well, think about it. If you have a huge plate and a small portion of food, it looks skimpy, right?
Oh, yeah, it looks lost.
So what happens? You end up serving bigger portions to fill up the space, and that means higher food costs and potentially more waste if people can't finish their meals.
Makes sense. It's a subtle thing, but it has a ripple effect.
Totally. And Maurice brings up another great example, L'Auberge du Vieux Puy, another Michelin-starred place. They're super intentional about their plates. They choose each one to perfectly complement the dish.
So it's not just about looks, it's about function too.
Exactly. So everyone listening, take a look at your own plates. Are they the right size for your portions? Are they subtly pushing you to serve more than you need to?
It's worth analyzing.
For sure.
All right, let's talk about drinks, specifically glassware. Marie says it's got to be two things, right? Suitable for the drinks you're serving, but also tough enough to survive all the handling and washing.
Durability is key. Especially in a busy bar or restaurant, you know things are going to get dropped. So Maurice, he recommends tempered glass whenever possible.
Tempered glass, is that like stronger?
Way stronger. It can take a beating.
Smart. It's got to save you money on replacements.
Absolutely. And he also talks about the importance of matching the size and shape of the glass to the portion you're serving.
Like a big glass for a small pour would look weird.
Exactly. He gives the example of a 25 centiliter wine glass for a 12 to 15 centiliter pour. Looks right, feels right.
There's a science to it.
There really is. And he has a cool example from the wine bars in Bordeaux. They often use these beautiful glasses, wide base, designed to enhance the aromas of the wine.
Oh, fancy.
It elevates the whole experience.
Says you care about the details.
Yeah.
So, to everyone listening, check out your glassware. Is it holding up? Is it doing your drinks justice?
Good questions.
All right, last but not least, let's talk about cutlery. Seems basic, right? But Marie says it needs to be comfortable, durable, and appropriate for your menu.
He's a big fan of ergonomics. You know how it feels in your hand? He suggests high-quality stainless steel, specifically 1810.
1810, is that like a grade of stainless steel?
Yeah, it's a good balance of durability and a nice feel. Not too heavy, not too flimsy.
Got it. Quality matters.
Totally. And Maurice makes a great point about testing the ergonomics. Especially the knives. Can they actually cut through the food you serve?
Oh, that's so important. Nothing worse than a dull knife.
Frustrating, right. And he uses the example of restaurants in Lyon, which is a
Yeah.
huge foodie city. They always have classic, high-quality cutlery. It's part of their culinary tradition.
It's like they take it seriously.
They do. So for our listeners, how's your cutlery? Is it up to snuff?
This is reflecting the quality of your food.
Exactly.
Okay, one last thing before we wrap up. Table textiles,
Right.
tablecloths, napkins, things like that. Marie says they play a big role in the atmosphere of your place, but they also impact your expenses, cleaning and all that.
Yeah, finding that sweet spot between fancy and practical.
Right, because cotton tablecloths, they look and feel great, but...
Laundry bills.
Exactly. So Marie suggests maybe alternating. Cotton for special occasions, polyester for everyday use.
Polyester's more durable, cheaper to clean.
Smart. And he has this cool tip about glass tablecloth protectors.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Why? What do they do?
They basically protect your tablecloths from spills and stains, extends their life, saves you money on laundry.
That's brilliant. And then on the other end of the spectrum, Maurice talks about Chef Pierre Garnier. He actually got rid of tablecloths in some of his restaurants.
Really? Bold move.
Yeah, he wanted a more modern, less formal vibe. So it just goes to show you don't have to follow all the rules.
Sometimes shaking things up is good.
Totally. So everyone listening, take a look at your table linens.
Yeah.
Are they working for you? Are they the right balance of style and practicality?
Good question to ponder.
All right, well, as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's clear, thanks to Maurice and his amazing insights, that every single choice you make for your hotel or restaurant, it matters.
It all adds up.
The table rotation, the layout, the chairs, the plates, even the napkins. It all affects how your guests feel, and it all impacts your profitability.
And Maurice, with all his experience, he really highlights how even small changes can make a big difference.
So as you look around your space, think about everything we've talked about today. What's one thing you could change right now that would make things better? Maybe improve efficiency, boost customer comfort, or both.
There's always room for improvement.
Absolutely. So use Maurice's tips as inspiration, get creative, and see what you can come up with. Thanks for diving deep with us.